A very good morning to you. How are you doing? And welcome to yet another exciting episode of Inspiration Monday. An amazing show lined up for you. We've got Motivate, Books and Blogs, we've got Beyond the Sport and The Kitchen. Quite the show for you. Like every Monday, we tell you need to start on high note, high energy, and we keep you motivated and empowered every single Monday. And on Motivate especially, today we have an amazing guest for you. He's a business strategist, an author, and he is very passionate about music. He's a columnist to the newspaper and something else. He sings beautifully. I just gotta say no to this, but I've known this guy from when I was 8 years old. Guys, I give you Dr. Wale Akinyemi. I know you're totally against the singing, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Karibu.
Thank you so much.
You know, when I was told I was going to interview Wale Akinyemi, I went, whoo, I was almost calling everyone. Because growing up, when I was 8, I think 8, 9 years, we had a tape.
Yes.
You know the one for the radio cassette?
Yes.
And it was Dr. Wale Akinyemi.
Now you're making me feel like an old man.
No, it's
How
okay.
Can you say you listened to my tape when you were 8? How can you say so?
At 8 years old.
No,
and now inside the tape, the covering had the lyrics written there, so it was very easy for us to know the song and keep repeating. You know the tape, you had to do this.
I know the pen and
yes, and everything. And I loved your songs.
Thank you.
What happened to that guy?
That guy?
Yeah.
When you find him, tell me.
I think I did. I'm going to make him sing later on. How about that?
Me, Wale.
I have 2 songs that I really love from your cassettes. No?
Okay,
no?
we'll sing.
We'll sing later, perhaps.
We'll see.
Okay, fine. So we're on Motivate, and Motivate, we try to draw inspiration from your journey in life, from your experience, from the work that you do, and hopefully motivate, empower, and make somebody change their life out there. Every single Monday we do this, and we think you're just the person for that.
Wow, thank you. I'm honored.
And looking at your life, today we're going to talk about transformation from different places, probably your workplace, in life basically, because you're one guy who's really transformed. They're like moved from one phase to another, to another, to another. And, what? And you keep your head focused, like you've emerged from whatever situation that you've been. But you coming to Kenya, maybe you can give us a bit of, there's a very interesting story to that. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Well, I have been in Kenya since 1994. That was Kenya Phase 1, and that's Kenya Phase 2.
Okay.
And Kenya Phase 1 was a very interesting phase of my life. I was very, very young. And I think it was the beginning. That's when I fell in love with Kenya. But like I said, I was very, very young. And a lot of people didn't know Wale like today. Yeah. Kenya Phase 2 was totally different because Kenya Phase 1 was focused on church activities, but Kenya Phase 2 was now the whole nation. All right? And for me, it's been a privilege. A privilege because I had failed, and one of the things that I have learned very much is that the seeds of success were in my failure. And a lot of people do not identify that in failure lies the seed to success. But you see, you need to identify that. You need to learn how to nurture it. You need to learn the lessons from the past and move on. A lot of people are very critical of people like me because we've done things that did not work. But what qualifies someone to be critical is that that person has done something worth criticizing.
It's true.
Now you have a lot of people who have done nothing worth criticizing.
You don't even talk about them.
Yeah. And the way I look at life is like a football match. You see, when you get to the stadium, there's a lot of noise going on. You have the players, and you see that noise is not coming from players.
No.
It's coming from the people who are watching. Yeah. These people paid a lot of money to come and watch. But they are the ones making noise. Oh, you ought to do it like this. Oh, that guy is a fool. That guy is this. If you don't want anybody to say bad things about you, then stay small. It is very, very easy. Just stay small.
Yes.
Then in the football match, there's another category. It's called the referee.
Yes.
That guy is amazing. He runs everywhere with the ball, just like the players. He runs, he sweats, he does it just like the players. But nobody remembers the referee.
No.
And the referee doesn't get a cup. He doesn't get a bed. Why? The job of the referee is someone whose job it is to point out faults. There are many referees in life.
Oh, yes.
Their job is just to point out the faults of different people. Nobody will remember them. I would rather fail at something than succeed at nothing.
That's really interesting. Looking at my life right now, and we do this every other day. You're busy pointing out mistakes from other people's lives, not knowing that actually they're doing something. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about them.
That's right.
You know, talking about transformation, you talked about how you found the seed of success in your failure.
Yes.
And that is the kind of transformation that we're looking at today, because you went to a good school, you got a good education, you were wealthy at some point, came to Kenya and you could barely, provide for your family. In Kilifi?
Yeah.
Kilifi. And
you've done your research.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, it's Wale.
I was so poor that poor people called me poor. We needed to buy a mathematical set for my son. You know, the mathematical set?
Yes.
80 shillings. It was a prayer point. And not ordinary prayer, revival prayer by fire. 80 shillings. When you have to do revival prayer for 80 shillings, you're in a bad place.
Even the poor people are calling you poor.
Poor people. People who are certified poor looked and said, whoa, Wale, that boy is poor, man. That's where I was.
And how did you get out of that? What was the journey for you and what was in your mind? You had a family then, you had a wife then.
Yeah.
And what was it like?
A couple of things. Number one, the thought of, I knew that there was more to me than what I was seeing.
Okay.
I was very sure of that there is more to me than meets the eye.
Okay.
So, now, one of the things that happens when you fail on that level, one of the things you lose apart from money, you lose confidence.
That's true.
You lose confidence, you lose a sense of dignity, you know that, and I lost all that. So my big assignment was, where do I get my confidence from again? Yeah. Because without confidence, I cannot move forward. So one of the things I began to do, I began to read a lot. I was reading before, but now it was targeted reading. In fact, every book I bought then had one common word on the cover, on the title page.
What
it was
that?
Millionaire. I bought
Millionaire.
The Millionaire's Notebook by Stephen Scott, The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley, Cracking the Millionaire Code, I think was by Robert Allen, The Millionaire Course. Because when you have a heart problem, you don't look for a gynecologist.
It's true.
You look for somebody who can sort your problem.
It's true.
And this was where I had failed. I needed to know how to make this thing work. And so that was the first thing. I was being interviewed in the US a couple of weeks ago. They interviewed me about, same thing. And somebody asked me, said, what was your first investment?
Yeah.
When you were coming back? And my first investment was an investment in my mind.
Wow.
Yes. That was my first investment, an investment in my mind. Because once I got that, once I got that aspect right, the rest would just be a natural progression. A lot of people are spending so much time investing on the outside.
True.
They're not investing on the mind. And you see, your life will follow the progression of your mind. I have a program in Madari. I deal with young people in the slums. And one of the things I keep telling them is, if your mind does not stay in the slum, your body cannot stay.
It's true.
So that means the first thing we need to develop is our mind. Because you see, many of us have been battered by the experiences of our past. Many of us are listening to the voice of our past. Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
I remember one day I was working in the UK. I was working in England, and I came out And there was this guy in a sports car, a convertible. He stopped, saw me, then he came to meet me and he said, "Oh, wow, I love the way you're dressed." And I said, "Thank you very much." And he said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a trainer and I'm a consultant. I work with organizations and so on and so forth."
Yeah.
Then he said, then he went and he brought out 2 leather jackets.
Leather jackets.
Okay?
Okay.
One was black, one was brown. Very expensive. Each one, he said, was about £1,000 or so. And I said, "I don't want any of these jackets." You know, of course. And he said, "You don't have to pay for them."
Oh.
He brought out his business cards, roll of business cards. He said, "You take these jackets. Since you talk to people every single day,
Yeah.
you take this jacket. Whenever you wear this jacket and anyone says, 'I like the jacket,' just give them my card."
Okay, interesting. What did you
Now, that sounds like a good deal, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a good deal.
Ooh,
You're not paying, are you?
I'm not paying. But you see, as I was about to collect the jacket from him,
Yeah.
I began to hear my mother's voice. My mother had died many years before, but I heard her voice. "Wale, Wale, never receive anything from strangers." Oh. Never receive.
And you all taught that?
So,
Yeah.
guess what? As I was about to take it, I heard my mother's voice. "Do you know I let the jackets go?" That in Yoruba is what you call a mumu. I was a mumu.
Imumu.
Mumu is somebody whose reasoning faculty is in a state of suspended animation. He thinks he's thinking, but he's just
not.
rotating ignorance around his head. He thinks accidentally. Anyway, so I'm an ex-mumu, so that's why I can describe it very well. Do you know I did not take the jacket? Now, why? You see, if the voice of your past is louder than the opportunity of your present, you will never take that opportunity, no matter how good it is.
You have to say that again. You have to say that
If
again.
the voice of your past is louder than the opportunity of the present, you will never take the opportunity, no matter how great it is. And that's what happened to me then. And so many people, the voice of their past is screaming and telling them, "You can't do this because you came from this kind of background. You can't do this because, well, your marriage didn't work, or you're too young, or you're too..." So the voice of the past is that we need to learn to shut the voice of the past up.
Very interesting that you mentioned this, because I'd like to know, at what point did you realize that was me being a mumu?
You learned that one so fast.
Yes, I did. But you said you are an ex-mumu now.
I'm ex. In fact, I am the chairperson of the Ex-Mumus Association globally, you know. At what point did I realize? It was because I realized that there were so many things I wanted to do, and each time I wanted to do them, my mind went back. And I realized, you know what? You don't look back to drive forward.
It's true.
Learn from the mistakes and get over it. Don't live there. And of course, the voice of the past, there are also people employed by the voice of the past who just want to keep you in the past.
True.
So they're always referring to you as, and you know, people are crazy.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic revelation I just gave you right there. People are crazy.
Okay.
You may do 1 million wonderful things and do one dumb thing. People will refer to you as the guy that did the dumb thing.
It's true.
Isn't it?
It's very true.
Now, it gets worse when you now refer to yourself as the guy who did the dumb thing.
Okay.
So I realized that these people who have been employed by my past to amplify the voice of my past, they belong in my past. They don't belong in my present. Oh, no, 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 no. And then anybody who did not see me when I was invisible does not deserve my attention now that I'm visible. So I am very selective in who I allow into my space. Yes.
Oh, goodness. And you're coming into the limelight and becoming this huge, motivational speaker.
What a motivational speaker.
I
Let me
know
tell
you don't
about
like that a lot. Okay.
Yes, because the first time I read it in the paper that I was a motivational speaker, I said, Chineke, even me, I need motivation right now. So
I know you don't like that, but that is what you do. That's what you do.
it's unconscious competence.
Which is really, oh, I like that. Okay. Happens unconsciously.
It's unconscious competence. Look, my background is in demography and social statistics.
Yes.
I work with organizations in strategy and leadership development. The one thing that I do that I am proudest of in Kenya is that I teach transformational leadership at the Kenya School of Government.
Yeah.
So I have an opportunity to influence leadership. That's the proudest thing I think I do right now. So that motivational speaker thing, I don't get it.
No? Do you know how many things you say that have moved me, changed me, probably made me think otherwise? That's exactly what it is. So how people appreciate that, probably that's the best thing they could, put together or phrase it to just summarize what you do to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even me,
So
I need a motivator.
you do? So when we all look up to someone, people who look up to you and want to be like Dr. Wale.
That's a small vision.
No, there are people, it's a small one.
That is such a small vision.
But there must be someone out there. There must be. And was there someone for you growing up?
They want to become like Dr. Wale. That is a very, very small vision. There are bigger visions people can have.
Did you have anyone you looked up to when you were growing up?
Yes. I looked up to my father.
All right.
My father taught me how to read. The guy had books everywhere. Everywhere there were books. So my father really, really inspired me.
What is that one thing that you would say is the one thing that keeps you there?
I read a lot. I read about 4 books every month. I read, like, I have this thing I do on Facebook called the 1 Minute Transformation every week. And the one for now I'm talking on books, that books are out there. And a book is an ignorance cleansing agent.
Look, Catherine Mwangi, we have a host on the show.
Yes.
She's called Catherine Mwangi. She does books and blogs. She would love to have you on the show.
A book is an ignorance cleansing agent, yet so many people are ignorant. So, and that is why my definition of ignorance is someone who ignored information. You have to ignore information to be ignorant. When you read books, you are taking the best of so many minds and putting them in your mind. My goodness. When you read books, for some people, let me tell you what, for some people, a book is a form of information. For others, it's a source of education. But I think the utmost purpose of a book is when it becomes a form of transportation. Yeah. Where I read a book, it paints a picture of a new reality for me. Yeah. And then I'm transported to that reality. Because if you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available.
Ooh, yes.
And so many people are settling for what is available. We had a guest here some time ago at home here, and this guy is one of these Forbes billionaires, very wealthy guy. So we had dinner and had coffee and all that, and I just chatting. And when he was about to leave, my wife asked a question. She said, what time is your flight tomorrow? Yeah. And he smiled. He said, I don't know. He said, but when I'm ready to leave, my office, my PA will alert my pilot.
Okay.
Hey. You see, if you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available. If you don't know it's possible to fly private,
then you'll be asking about the airline.
People like you brag that you are sitting in business class. Mumu. Meanwhile, your mates are flying private.
What?
So reading is something. Then another thing I like to do, I listen to young people.
Okay.
I listen to young people because I tell people in leadership today, one of the most difficult things you're having to do is lead people who know more than you. Yes. Hard. Let me tell you a story. Now I'm a storyteller. So I'm watching TV one day with my daughter years ago. And one of my favorite shows I was watching nothing, Top Gear.
Yeah.
You know, and my phone rang. So I'm thinking, who is this Mumu calling me when I'm watching Top Gear? You know, so I didn't want to pick it. And my daughter said, pick it. I said, no, I don't want to miss it. She said, then why don't you pause? Now listen. I said, no, baby, it's not a DVD, it's TV, it's live TV. She said, but you can pause. I said, you don't get it, it's TV. She said, or you can go and then you rewind. Now let's put this in context. It is in my house. The TV I bought with my money. The decoder I bought with my money. The remote control is mine. Even the girl talking is mine. Now, she's making me look like a mumu. Saying that,
in your own house.
She now began to laugh hysterically. So anyway, I went. I picked the call. Then when I got back, hey, my daughter took my remote control and just pressed, and the thing stopped. Hey! Then she pressed, rewind. Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa.
What did you do? Did you pick your call?
I felt like Mumu Emeritus. How can this girl make me feel so foolish?
What is that, Mumu Emeritus?
That was just something I came up with. Make whatever you call it, find it. So, can you imagine now? Now, I felt so silly. But you see, that is where a lot of people like me, that's where we are. I was training the other day, and I told this story, they were laughing. I said, you're all laughing. I said, all the people that you have employed, they are laughing at you right now that Mumu has gone on training, or Mumu has gone on training, he's not around in the office.
No. No.
Hey, now this.
How are you, Taiwo? Really nice to meet you.
Now this is my sweetie Porero.
Hey!
My Chocomillo.
Hey!
My one and only. My wife of 25 years.
Whoa. Hey. Nice to meet you, Taiwo.
Very nice to meet you too.
She's lovely.
Thank you, Magure. You can have a seat.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Wale has been telling us how he was hot when he was younger. Is that true?
Not when he was younger, even now.
No. You said it yourself.
He had hair.
He had hair. You know his height. Can we see?
For what reason?
If you really have hair or not.
It is culturally.
He doesn't have anymore. He cuts it every week.
He cuts it every week. So you used to have hair. Did you like the hair?
Yeah, I guess.
I had curls at the time. I had Jerry curls at one time.
He went through a lot. We talked about that earlier. But your role as the wife, holding his hand and, reaffirming this already a family man, that, we're going through a lot, but we're going to make it at the end. Most of the time, we'll hear conversations of, my wife left me because I ran into debts, or my wife left me because I couldn't provide for her and our family. How was it for you during that time, to support Dr. Wale?
I think the foundation is always important. It's important how you start. So. And I always say this to people who go through a rough time. Remember how you started. Remember what the vision was. So that when the rough times come, you're just passing through. There are a few examples, a few people, high-profile people in the world who went through a rough period. And in the period when they were going through a rough time, the wife left. Yeah. And after she left, the day broke for the man. You see, it's too late to. So I think that people call it quits too early. Yeah. They throw in the towel too early. I think when we were going through a rough time, it's like I understood we were passing through something. It was not a destination. So as far as I was concerned, we're passing through and we're going to come out. And for me, we would only come out if we were in it as a team. So that's important.
You feel good about that? Look at the way he's smiling. And, I tried to make him sing earlier because I know his songs from when I was 8.
And you should stop saying that, because that makes me feel like an old man.
8 years old. But you're the singer. That's what he was telling me. You're the singer. And
he's a songwriter. I sing the songs.
Yeah.
He writes the songs. I sing the songs.
Do you want to give us a belt out a line? Probably. We're going to do more inside.
Let's do it.
Inside?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. final question before we come to the end of the interview and move in for a more fun time, like you said. Do you live by a particular philosophy or particular mantra, or probably your final advice to the people who are watching out there and they would like to probably transform their lives or be able to move comfortably from one place knowing that they still have their vision locked onto a certain point in their life?
A lot of people are too conscious of what people think about them, of what people say about them. Like I said earlier on, if you don't want people to talk about you, then be small. And I've lived by this philosophy that the world is my stage, the Lord is my audience. As long as the audience is happy, Wale got no problems.
Great, I love that. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wale.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to be singing later. Hopefully it gets onto the tape. But right now, though, I hope you learned something. Be focused in what you want to do. Be very passionate in what you want to do. And do not lose sight of the target. And for all the Kenyan women out there, Taiwo said it very, very easy. You need to hang on. Hang on. You never know. You might just quit, and that's when it breaks through for the guy. And this has been Motivate. We're going to be taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we've got Kasmi Mwangi on books and blogs. Later on, Beyond the Sport and the Kitchen. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Bless this land and bless our leaders too. Help them to rule in righteousness and truth.
Sing them. And you sing beautifully. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Asante sana, that was beautiful.
Very, very well.
Very fulfilling.
I know I like mabuyu.
Yes, that's a snack. Mabuyu and achari, you know, the one
achari.
thing that people from Nairobi always ask for.
Those are the things we
Yeah,
ask for,
like,
yeah.
bring me mabuyu if you're coming.